Hey, happy Friday. Thanks for watching, and here we are, back on with another show. Remember I was, I forget if it was earlier this week, Monday or Tuesday, talking about the absolutely terrible weather, the most unlike spring weather that we're having, dark, rainy. It's getting colder and colder and less spring-like as every day goes on. And so this morning, I'm up, just minding my own business, and just sitting here at my desk, and I was doing some work, and hear this loud noise. And I'm not really even paying attention at first because I'm working on a project, and just hear this rumbling noise again, and my brain's thinking, oh, it's just a plane not too far from some military bases, and there's often very loud airplanes flying very low and that rumbling sound. And then I still hear this noise, and I think it's coming from the garage, and it sounds like if you have a washing machine full of clothes and it all shifts to one side of the washer, and the washer is going like, you know, and it's moving and it's making this noise. And this is all happening within a few seconds. It's way shorter than it's taking me to tell the story. So I hear this, and so I'm thinking, I don't have anything in the washing machine. What the heck is that noise? And so that's when I start to get up, and then I start to walk over to the garage, trying to figure out what this noise is. And then that's when I started realizing, is this like an earthquake? And then it was like over. But it was weird because I wasn't feeling like I was moving. I've been in an earthquake before, and like it's weird. It feels like someone moving your feet one way or this way, but I wasn't feeling any moving. But yet I was hearing like noises, like things were shaking. So I guess, but I don't know what it was. It was loud, so I don't know what all the shaking sound was. But then it was done, and it's weird because your brain, that's not what your brain is like processing or thinking about, and so the weirdness continues with what's going on over here. So if you're tuning in next week, don't be surprised if I'm telling you a story that there was like a tsunami or something, because this is the rate that we're going here with like destruction of the East Coast, apparently, and things getting like worse and worse every single week. So that's what's kind of a Friday it's in. But anyway, thanks for stopping in tonight. My name is Michael. I'm a women's photographer here in New Jersey. I've been a professional photographer for 15 or more years now. I've photographed hundreds and hundreds of women. And then about 5 or 6 years ago, started to have some women coming in, and they were telling me, you know, I'm talking about their project and I'm putting my stuff on OnlyFans. I'm like, you know, what the heck is that? So I started getting more of these women coming in, and lo and behold, I started to work with dozens and dozens of women. Learned a lot about that site. I've worked with women brand new, all the way up to women with thousands and thousands of followers, and kind of everything in the middle. So I worked with them on their projects and on their accounts and on everything else, and learned a lot about how that works. Had a lot of feedback from people, what they were doing on that site, what works, what doesn't work. So I sort of never planned on it, but gained a lot of knowledge on how that website works. And when people would contact me for sessions, they'd usually have lots of questions about what are other people doing and what works and what doesn't work. So you start to build up this inventory of information about that site. So that's how the show sort of came about. So tonight, again, we're going to be answering a few questions, some photography related, some not. I forget what's exactly in the deck here, or the list of questions tonight. We'll start to go through these and answer them. So hopefully this is helpful for you, whether you're new or starting. And as always, if you have a question, you can always leave it down in the comments below, and I'll look through there and I can grab them and put them on a future episode and see how we can help you out there. So we're going to jump into our first question, and then we'll get rolling tonight. Oops, I didn't turn on that overlay before, but that's me, Michael. Okay, so our first question in this Earthquake Friday is, Can you share some advice on dealing with negative comments or subscribers who cross boundaries? Yeah, and I think it doesn't take too long, and you don't need to start to build up hundreds of followers before you'll start getting, it's going to be guys leaving comments on your work, or if you have your direct messages open, you'll start getting unsolicited messages just out of the blue with stuff that you're like, why are they messaging me this like inappropriate kind of comments and stuff like that. It's just going to happen because guys. So that's just part of the reality of what's going to happen there. I don't think it's like to the point where it's like crazy. As you do get more people, you'll get more of these kind of messages and comments. And it's just part of it is just the cost of doing business there. And really when it comes to someone sending a message like that, just ignore it. You are under no obligation to answer or respond to any type of messages that you feel you don't need to if they're not part of some kind of conversation or interaction you want to have with somebody. You are not, remember, it's your business. You make up the rules. It's not the other person that decides what to do. So yeah, there's no need, first of all, to respond to any kind of inappropriate comments or messages that you get. First of all, and of course, there's a couple things you can do. Now, everybody I think knows that you can sort of turn on that setting that, someone can't send you a message unless there's a tip involved. So that gets rid of 99.99% of all these unwanted messages, because usually it's the people sending you the weird messages that are not going to be buying anything and stuff like that. So you can always turn on that tip gate for the DMs on there, and that's super, super helpful. And likewise, there's a similar setting for comments. You can turn on people can't comment on your posts if they haven't tipped or subscribed. I forget which one it is. So you can get rid of a lot of those comments if somebody is leaving comments. And of course, there's plenty of ways that you can restrict people or block people. If someone becomes a consistent issue, you can restrict them and you won't see any of their comments or notes, or you can just block somebody. So there are multiple levels and multiple ways that you can deal with inappropriate comments or negative comments. And it's not that much of an issue. Like again, I said, if you're out there, and it's not just on OnlyFans, any account, Instagram, anywhere you are, the higher the tree grows, the more those branches are going to blow in the wind, and you're going to attract like attention. And as you know, it's not always positive, and that's the unfortunate cost of. It's not even worth trying to figure out why people do that. Why people wake up in the morning and they just look to be mean to other people out of the blue. It's not even worth your energy thinking about it. It's not worth getting involved, because a lot of these people are doing that just to get a reaction from somebody. And it's tricky, because if someone lashes out at you, your first reaction is, of course, you gotta do something to get back at them. But that's not really the winning strategy on those kind of platforms. It's usually just don't respond, block them, or just or just block their so they can't comment to you or send you restrict their accounts and so forth. Is the best way to do it. And then as you get a bit more accustomed to it, it just becomes not even a thing. You just kind of move on. Don't feel any obligation to respond or answer anybody who is writing comments like that. Okay, question number 2. Hopefully something happier. Regarding content, how do you keep things fresh and engaging without stepping too far out of your comfort zone? Oops, I'm all tangled up with my headphones here. Now, this is regarding to producing your content, and I hear this all the time from women coming in and wanting to work with me, or wanting to, after you've been doing this for a while, it seems like, all right, what do we do now? Because it's like, I've done this picture, and I've done this picture, and I've done this picture, and people always want to come up with new ideas, and so they're not taking the same photos over and over and over again. And as we talked about before, people have their sort of riverbanks. They want to create content between this and this, and creating something new doesn't necessarily mean you have to start creating the type of content that's more extreme or something you don't want to create either. So people run into this come to this place where they've been making a lot of videos or taking a lot of photos, and it starts to feel repetitive. And here's one thing that I've learned as far as what we produce is that this is just part of the job and part of this as being work. And you don't, and nor should you try to be reinventing the wheel every time you are creating photos. It's completely unnecessary. Now I get it, it's fun to do something new, but it's really not that necessary, because remember, you're just, the people aren't usually thinking in those terms that you're sending these photos out and posting this stuff. They just want to see you, and it's just picture, and it's picture, and it's picture. You know, you're freshening up these things, I think, more for yourself than for anybody else in a lot of cases. So people can use different rooms, obviously can change outfits. If you have the means, you could do different locations, but ultimately, right, you've gone through, you don't know what's next. And don't go, like I said, out of your comfort zone just to create a new picture because you feel you always need to do something new. The answer isn't getting more extreme, and it really will become repetitive, but that's okay. It's work. Like I say, in most jobs, no matter what you do, there's repetition involved. And, you know, that's just the nature of the game. If you're usually shooting in the day, sometimes shoot at night. If you always go inside, see if sometimes you can go outside with a friend and do something. But you know, eventually you're going to run out of ideas, and then, but that's just the nature of that. Probably wasn't the answer that you wanted to hear, but that was the reality of it. You know, sometimes people do things in black and white, but the truth matter is the guys, when they see the pictures, if you're creating good videos or a good set of photos that you want to send, they don't care. They like you. You know, see, the man's brain is working in a different level than how you're trying to put this all together. So, like I said, just don't overcomplicate it. Don't reinvent the wheel. You could take a very similar looking photo standing in the same place in your room 55 times, and they will enjoy that 55 times. They're not going to go, oh, well, that's the same picture you took. It doesn't. Guys just don't think like that when it comes down to that stuff. So, don't put that kind of pressure. Non necesito. Okay. And different kinds of stuff here tonight. So I've seen a lot of talk about engagement metrics on OnlyFans. What metric should I be paying the most attention to? Yeah, I saw this one earlier. So I prepared the slides. And yeah, I'm sure, as you know, when you go into your account, there is a statistics section, and there are quite a few different reports there that show a bunch of stuff going on in your account. And of course, people are looking at money, but there's really some other stuff in there it's interesting that every once in a while you should be looking at and checking on. And that could be helpful, or there are ways that you can see your account is growing, or maybe you need to make changes and so forth. So let's see if I can switch my screens here and we can get into this. Let me take this banner off. And I changed my slide. It's stuck. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to bring this up on a second window so I can see it too. So one thing here that you'll go inside of your statistics page, I'm just going to see if I can read it off the screen. I can see it, although it's shrunk down on my end. There are some engagement reports on there. And then under that, there's another one that is posts. And this is something I think you should be checking. Because this report will show you, I can't draw on this, I don't have my drawing pencil on there, but this report will show you, how often you've been posting, how many views you're getting on your posts. And I'm going to open up this separate window for me so I can see it a little bigger with my bad eyes. It's going to have to be turning my head, so I'm not going to be looking at you because I'm on a different monitor. But in this particular example, it shows there's 9,500 post views, and this has gone up 100% or so in the past a couple of months with this particular account, and you just always want to see that growing. And I can't draw on here. Let's see if I can just it's not going to let me. Thought I could draw on that slide, but I can't. It's going to just create another scene. But you can see in this, posting consistently, you can see the engagement or the views all these posts are getting in that middle bar and the timeline on the bottom. But you just want to go through and you can go back several months. This is 90 days. They can go back 6 months or a year. Just make sure you're posting consistently, that your posts are getting views, that number is growing. And this, you may not think about how often you're posting, and sometimes you don't, and you're not posting enough. And sometimes you have to get in there 4 or 5 times a week at least and keep pushing material out. And what you have to think of, and I think this is part of our next slide over here. Let's go to the next one, which is this subscriptions, profile visitors. There, this one. As far as this next slide here, statistics again, this is in reach. This is important stuff to know and to keep an eye on. And profile visitors, again, you can see in this particular graph, it shows you how many visitors in that past 90 days period that came to the account. And again, that number is up. You want to make sure this is going up, up, up. And you want to make sure that people are constantly coming to your page and your page is growing in this regard. And you'll see the more you post, your profile will keep growing. So these are some things that you should be looking at every once in a while to make sure these numbers are getting bigger, how often you're posting, how often people are coming to your account. And that's something that you want to see always rising. So this profile visitors report is another thing you should be looking at regularly to make sure you're getting visitors and that they are coming into your account. And then the third thing, of course, kind of self-explanatory, but if you go again into the statistics and the fans and the subscriptions, this shows up whether your account is paid or not. You just want to make sure this number where it says subscribers is going up to over the periods, and make sure that is constantly growing, because you need to keep building the number of subscribers, because the more subscribers you have, obviously the larger the base of people you have to sell things to. So you always want to be growing that subscriber number. So it is good to check into this to get a visualization of how many people are coming in each month or every couple of months, and make sure that number is growing, because if it stops or for some reason you're going down, you have to scramble right away and figure out what the heck is happening or what's going on. Why am I losing people? So that is another report. Check in on that fans and subscriptions report, which is in your stats as well. And then another one I threw in here, which I don't even know if a lot of people know is there. Let me zoom out to it again. I have to do it on another, but there's another one in there called, in the statistics, reach, and then tracking links, which this account obviously isn't set up for. And I think a lot of people don't use this, but you should. And reach and tracking links, this is where you can create a unique link for your account for every place that you use to drive people to your OnlyFans account. And you're like, what the heck does that mean, Mike? Well, let's say you have a link tree, or you have an Instagram, or your TikTok, or your Twitter. You could create 4 unique links that point to your page. And then what it does is they will keep track of, okay, how many people came from your link tree, or how many people came from your Instagram, or how many people came from your Twitter. You can go in and look in this report on tracking data and see what percentage of your people that came to your profile came from what source. Why do you want to know that? Well, it's really handy. And let's just say that you are running this for a couple months and then you look at this report and you see that 80% of your people are coming right from your Instagram page, but you're spending 75% of your time over on your TikTok account, but the people just aren't coming from TikTok, so you're wasting a lot of time on posting content on your TikTok account, but you're spending time for little return there. You should redirect and focus your energy more on the part that's driving you, or in turn, why aren't I getting the people from these other sources? I'm only getting 2 people from Twitter, so you can go ahead and adjust your strategy on where you want to post, or where you feel you need to put more or less effort into, or adjust your time, as you can see where people are coming. Because without this, you really have no idea, unless you only have one place that you're driving people from, where they're coming from or how they're finding you. So this tracking link page is super helpful, and it's easy to set this up. It only takes a moment. And let me get my other screen up here. And the way that you can do this, let's see if I can show you. If you search for OnlyFans tracking links, it brings up their little tutorial on that. And essentially it's right in your account settings. You just go to your page and your account settings and profile, and you scroll down to the bottom and you could find tracking links. But you just go into your profile, click on your edit profile, and they've changed this a little bit since they have this, but right when you click edit profile, right on the top, you'll see your profile details, and then tracking links is in there, and it'll just say create new tracking link when you click on that. And then you can call it whatever you want to, a box. So you can call it YouTube, you can call it Linktree. You just give it the name that you're going to know. And then what it will do is, once you type in the name, right in there it says create tracking link, you just hit create tracking link. And they show you there, create tracking link, click that button. And then what it will do is it will give you a unique link that you can just put right on your Instagram profile or your Linktree or whatever you want to call that one. And then that time, every time someone clicks from your Instagram on that link, it will be a unique identifier, and that way you can see where that person came from. And over time, you'll start to see where your traffic comes from, which is very helpful. Like I said, so you can manage your time or not waste a lot of time on one site when everyone's coming from another site. And that way you can have some knowledge about how you're growing or where your audience is coming from. So literally you can set this up in 5 minutes, creating these links and pasting them into the sites that you use to get traffic from. So this is super helpful. I think everyone should go in and set this up. I use this. I have one for my YouTube. I have one from my website, and I forget what my third one is. I think I have 3 of them. And that way you can see how people are finding you and how they're getting to your account. So it's worth doing. Next time you're on your account, go in and set that up. For the 5 minutes it takes, you get a lot of information on where your people are coming from. So that's that. There's a lot of information on metrics. There's more involved in there, but those are a couple of things I think everyone should keep looking at, and important stuff to know about your account. Okay. I've read about using a content calendar for planning posts. Do you use one? And how detailed should it be? That doesn't, well, content calendar is a lifesaver. And I said, there's OnlyFans site is kind of quirky the way that's set up, but that's one of the things that's a real bonus. And if you aren't using that, you should be using that. And essentially, if you don't know about it, I think it's on the left-hand side. I think it's called Q-U-E-U-E, I think. I'm not logged into any accounts now. Let me see. I'll go into my account. Just so I'm not telling you bad information. Yeah, it's called Q. So on the left-hand side, when you click on the link that says Q, it brings you to your content calendar. And essentially what that does is it lets you pre-schedule all of your posts. So that way, every day you don't have to worry about logging in, because that's what we do. schedule all your, pick a day, put everything in there, and it'll automatically, post all your material according to the schedule that you want to. Not only posts, but messages and all kinds of stuff like that you could set up in there. So that's one of the things that site has right in getting that content calendar in there. So use it. It's very simple to use. I use it, but my account is a little different. It's a free account. I don't charge anybody anything on mine. And how detailed should it be? I'm not exactly sure what you mean. However, you should use it comprehensively, because like I said, you can go pick a day, Monday morning or Sunday night or something. You could go in there again and just spend a few minutes, schedule your Monday post, Tuesday post, Wednesday post, Thursday, Friday, your mass messages on the days that you want to do them. Set that all up at one time. You can write out all the details of your posts, add the photos, and do it in sort of one, and then you're freed up for the rest of the week. Just really need to check in to, do any comment replies or a mail that you may get and reply to that. But you can get your content done all in a couple minutes. So everybody should be using that content calendar. Hopefully you know about that. If you're not, start using it. Okay. Next. Hey, Mike. Hey. I'm considering bumping up my mass message content. Can you talk about how to do this effectively without annoying your subscribers? Yeah. Well, it seems like over the past couple of years, the poor mass message has become the way that most people are making their money now. They have a free account and they just bombard people with mass messages every single day. So that's sort of this meta that has evolved on OnlyFans, that you're just sending out mass messages constantly to people, and with your paid mass messages on there. And as far as annoying your subscribers, I don't think they're going to be getting annoyed, because this is all anybody is doing now, and you aren't going to be the only person. It's just everybody. You log into your account now, there's nothing but messages in there with these, hey, have you seen this? Or, hey, this is the most, I've never done anything like this before, and all these people title their messages the same. They're all the same. So you're not going to annoy anybody by doing this, because everybody is doing this now. And this is really how a lot of accounts are set up, is free account, and then they charge people for these mass messages now, and they're sending the content out because it sits in a person's inbox. They don't have to come to the page, which is not a great thing. Because remember, we were looking to those reports we were looking through a while ago, and some of those reports, we're talking about page views and stuff like that. So in one way, people aren't visiting your pages and your content, and that's not always a great thing, because nobody knows really how they're sort of tracking those pages in that algorithm in OnlyFans. But on other similar sites like TikTok or Instagram, that engagement is a big part of how they calculate the value of a page and how they promote those pages and make those posts seen. So I would suspect that they're using the same way as engagement and on OnlyFans. So that's where some of those reports, you could see how many likes you're getting or how many comments you're getting, and you still want to have people go to your page. So I'm not a fan of doing just everything through mass messages. Still want to get people clicking on your posts and putting some paid messages. And sometimes what I'll do is I'll double them up. We'll have the same mass and then do that just as a paid post at the same time. So you have the same thing going in on the same time to two different places. So that way you can get some engagement on that page. So you're not going to annoy your subscribers. I think the trade-off of that model, though, is you're not getting as much page engagement because people are just looking in their inbox, not necessarily going into your feed to see your content sometimes. So I don't think you must send everything out through mass messages. You want to split it up because you still want people on your page to get those likes, to get those comments and stuff like that, which I think helps them helps your page bubble up, and you know, they sparingly send people to your page on OnlyFans, but I think that helps to show that you have a lot of engagement there. So that, if that's how you've chosen to run your account, you've got to send out at least 3-4 times a week paid mass messages, you know. And there's accounts that I see that just, it's every day, 365 days a year. They're, have you seen this? This is the most revealing this. I've never done anything like this before. I see the same account. So every day, message. It just never stops. So you have to get in there and get your share of the attention on that inbox. And you just have to keep messaging. You're not going to annoy the people. I think now more and more of those messages don't go unopened, because all they are is just paid content now. It's not like anyone's in there just saying, hey, let's chat. You know, it's all paid content. So it all gets lost in the blur. So the trick there in making your message the one that they want to click, and the 8,000 paid messages that come out every day, takes a little bit more of creativity and marketing to get someone to take a look at it. And don't do the same thing that everybody else is. I can't believe I've never done anything like this before, because that's what everybody else is writing. Again, people all write the same exact content, partially because they're copying what everybody else is doing. So your stuff isn't going to stand out. But the key is to, and that's the trick, to come up with something a little bit more genuine so people do click on your messages. We're working on some new ideas with some kind of reward for clicking on that and stuff like that. So working at some stuff with some people on how to bump up their open percentage on those mass mails, but you're not going to annoy them. And right now you just have to get in there and keep sending out that content. I say at least 3 or 4 a week to be seen, because if you're not, other people are, their messages are going to be open. So just keep doing it, keep bumping it up. Right now you don't have too much of a choice. Okay, next question. The rise of cryptocurrency. Do you think OnlyFans will start accepting or paying out in crypto anytime soon? Well, that's an interesting question. And a couple of years ago, I had a woman who I was working with who was, she had one of those EDM, I forget what you call EVM, Ethereum domain names, EDM, maybe it's called, where you are like Michael.eth or something.eth, like your name was your crypto address. Because I don't know how much you know about crypto, because usually crypto addresses are these incomprehensible long string of letters and numbers that no one could ever remember. And it's hard to just say that, but these gave a convenient way with a short word that people could send you tips or money through a crypto wallet address. And the downside is that I think, I don't know, and I've never read into the terms of service. So if you are somehow cutting OnlyFans out of it, because you know they take everything, they're taking everything, you know, everybody that sends something to you, they're taking a cut of, because somebody wants to send you something, they're there and they want their percentage. So by going around them, you could be breaking the terms of service somehow, and they may be able to close your account or at least do something like that. So you'd have to read into that. But the downside again to using, I think, something like Ethereum, and I think she was trying to use like an Ethereum name, is that nobody is going to be sending you a $5 tip or a $10 tip on Ethereum, because the gas fees on Ethereum, it could cost you $40, $50, $60 per transaction. So no one's going to send you a $5 tip and have them pay a $60 transaction fee just to send you $5. So that I don't think was the way to go, as popular as it may be. You know, there are other alternatives which are more manageable and way less money. I think I remember one woman who had like a QR code somehow, and she was trying to get tips through a QR code. Let's be careful there. I don't know if that, and what I've never tried doing is if you can actually put a wallet address in a post, or they may see that and scrub it out. But there is a number of ways that you can probably get people who are crypto people to send you cryptocurrency. Why not? You have to check into it as far as subverting their system. So I'm sure they have something in there because they're not going to be able to get a cut of it. But that's why people do that, so they don't have to give part of their funds to. But you could always, you have a link tree or something like that. You could always put it outside, like with your link tree, send me tips at this, address, and you could put your Bitcoin address in there or something where people could send you. But I don't know how easy it is to do it right through OnlyFans. Will they ever start doing it? It's possible. As long as they're getting their cut, I don't see why they wouldn't. But like I said, on some cryptocurrencies now, the fees are very, very high. Cryptocurrency is very fragmented. There's imagine countries in the world. There's hundreds of countries in cryptocurrency. They don't talk well to each other. So you would need to have different wallet addresses. It's almost like if you lived in a country, money for every, you can't use money from Germany in this country. You can't use money from China and the United States. So cryptocurrency is like a lot of independent countries. You need all different wallets for all these different languages. It gets very overwhelming to do that kind of stuff. So it's a little complicated now, and I think, but it's possible. I could see it happening in the future. I'm sure it will happen in the future at some point, but now it's not so simple. Try to work it in, but just check on the terms of service. Interesting question, though. In your work with various creators, what have you found to be the most effective strategies for increasing viewer retention and turning one-time viewers into long-term subscribers? I'm not sure what you mean by viewers, but I'm guessing you mean if you have a paid account or keep them coming back and buying your content. Yeah, and in the world of people who go to your account, as you will learn, if you look at the whole kind of pie of all the people going there, especially if you have a free account, an overwhelming percentage of them are just silent subscribers. They're really not going to give you a lot of money. They're not there to buy anything. They're there to see whatever they can see for free. But that's okay because they boost your engagement if they're liking or commenting on your posts and so forth. Then there are the people that once in a while buy stuff from you. The occasional purchaser, they like your content and so forth. And then there's always that small percentage of the really super dedicated people who seem to, whatever you create, they want a piece of that. And they're rare. And I think the thing is that it's kind of the opposite way as you've kind of been conditioned on social media is to ignore people. And when you are trying to build these relationships to sort of foster this kind of growth in your account, you have to interact with people. Because I worked with this one woman once on from her Instagram account, literally one of these people who had hundreds of thousands of people. And I understand why you can't get in there on Instagram and necessarily interact with people again, because you just get bombarded with messages. A lot of them are nonsense. We were talking about things that are inappropriate. You get all kinds of, so you can't get in there with everybody. So people are trained. On Instagram, everything goes into that spam message filter. You just set it so if you're not following them, the message goes into spam, and you never look at them. You never reply to anybody. You just ignore everybody. You just ignore people. It doesn't matter. You just want the likes. You're taking a picture in your bra. All you want is the likes. The likes. It's just a one-way system. You, in no way, shape, or form, have conditioned yourself to thank anybody or do anything like that because they just love you. They're just going to keep doing. When you come into the OnlyFans universe, I think it becomes a little bit different. And some of these people who go into that field who do not want to have any interaction are not maximizing what they can get from their subscribers and their followers. Because a little kindness, and again, this is where this gets weird, but a little bit of interaction can go a really long way. Someone says something nice, thanking them. Oh, nice post. Thanks for following me. And just being real. And then there's, wow, this is a real person. And that just kind of genuine interaction with somebody Because what you don't understand, especially if you're like a popular Instagram person or you build up a following on OnlyFans, is sometimes these people are like, wow, I can't believe she responded to me. And that little bit of feedback or interaction with somebody goes a long, long, long way. And then when you want to keep people invested in your account, the most successful people are the ones who take the time to interact with their subscribers and their followers. And the person I was talking about before had a bunch of people, brought them into, again, just ignored, blocked every DM, did not respond to any content, did not, the messages, guys would respond, did not want to, ignored. And, how much money are you leaving on the table by just not taking that extra step? And the attitude was, well, I don't have to. How do you know you don't have to? Have you ever tried just keeping, and then because people are going to go on. So guys, that's like but they'll go on. And I've seen this where they'll go on to the next account, and the people that show them a little bit of attention are the ones where they're going to spend their money. Now, again, not to reward inappropriate behavior, but that's part of your job as the host there. And it's different. It's a different kind of a mindset, like I said, and you just can't close the barn doors and expect that to grow. If you really want to go, you have to foster that interaction. And I remember one time, I think this is about a year or so ago, and I had somebody I was following on Instagram for, and I don't even remember why, it was like years. And I saw that in her bio, she started an OnlyFans account. And I was like, and it was probably new. And then I clicked in and I went to, it was a free account, and went to follow the account. And it looked like it was new and just being set up. And this is a person that literally had, I don't want to make at least 750 million followers or so on Instagram. It's a very, very big account. Not a lot of people on this Instagram. The messages were open still at this point. So what I did, I just was like, hey, longtime follower on your Instagram page. Just want to say good luck on here or whatever. Saying was just, that was it. That was all when I'm going on my way. And I think a day or two later, I was on my account and checked back. And there was a response, but you could tell it was just like all it was just buy my, it wasn't like a, hey, it was just buy my VIP, buy my whatever. No, thank you. No, nothing. And I know I felt weird about that everything is just a sale. You don't exist other than you're just, so that was made me think differently about this person that I had been following for years and years and years. And yeah, there was a response there. It wasn't ignored, but it was just purchase stuff for me. Buy, give me the money. And you have to be a bit more interactive and engaging with your audience. And that's how you keep people around. That's how you keep them spending. That's how you keep them buying your mass messages and tipping and so forth. You have to give people a reason. If you're friendly, if you show some sort of personality in your profile, everything doesn't have to be so extreme. If you just post a video, hey, I'm having a great day today, and just being cute and being charming, that goes a long way. And that's why I always tell all the people, you have no idea how little simple things like that just can start to build your account. And that's what separates you from the people who do nothing, do not engage, and they just post, but they're not there as people. They're just, just putting content out. There's nothing behind it. So that's the one important way how you separate yourself from everybody else, is the engagement with your followers and just making the effort to be like a human and interact with people. You will be shocked what will happen if you do that. If you take out a moment just to respond or post interesting things, have a laugh and stuff like that, and become human. It's just amazing what will happen to your account over time as you do that. And you will be doing something that currently 98% of the people are not doing, because they come from this universe, like I said, I'm just ignoring everybody. my Instagram, I don't reply. I don't answer. I just ignore everybody. They are there to give me likes, and that is it. They worship me. I don't talk to the peasants. You know, and I think it works very differently on a site like OnlyFans. It's like the opposite. And the people who are really personable are the ones that keep their subscribers around and ultimately succeed. And very few people do that. So that's your $1 million tip of the day for a Friday night. So that was a bunch of information, but on there, wow, about 45 minutes or so with my mouth blabbering about all the stuff. So hopefully you learn a thing or two tonight. We talked about a bunch of different stuff, not too much photo stuff, but more account stuff on there this evening. And, you know, I appreciate you coming by on Friday night to watch this. If you're watching this at a later time, hopefully this was helpful for you, and I want you to go out and enjoy your weekend. And thanks for viewing. And I'm going to get out of here, and I'll be back next week. So thanks, everybody. I'm going to turn off my music, and I will see you later.